So, hello and welcome to Grace and Lottie's channel. Elizabeth here. We're going to be in Twilight Garden by Maria Troll, this coloring book. I ordered it well over a year ago and I've barely even gotten started in it just because of everything crazy that went on here. So I'm happy now to be getting into it. I did this page a little while ago, just kind of, or not a little while ago, like a week ago, while I was working on a painting and like I had several layers, so I had to dry, so I had to go do something, come back, do something. So I had some fun with the strawberries. Started working over here on some veggies just because it was the picture on the other side. But now I'm gonna be working on this owl with you guys today. And for the next couple of weeks, gonna be using some pencils that I really like. And these are the Koh-i-noor Woodless. They're the Progresso. They come in 12 and 24 packs. I have the 24 here, plus the silver and the gold that you can get to go with them. I've put them in my Polycolor 10 because this was a 2410 and I have much more than that now. I have the full set. So I have those in a different container, which worked really, really well. It was actually really handy. It's just that I traveled with them so much that the cardboard that was on the outside got really, really, really scuffed up and didn't work as well after that. So that's just something to know about those when you're using them. That as wonderful as that little drawer is, if you use them a whole lot, that drawer system will eventually wear out on you, which made me a little sad. But I've got this here. Another thing to know about these is you can see most of mine have broken. Because it is just basically coloring with the pigment core that's in your color pencil. And it is the exact same structure, like the compound is the same that's in the Polycolor. They are pretty fragile. And when I got these, I was not as careful as I should have been. Hi, Shakrane. Thank you for that. Just saw that little text pop up on my phone. Because I'm still standing right now, I'm not sitting at it. Hope you enjoyed this new setup here that we're gonna be working on in this new picture. But I do really, really, really like this set because it has all the basics right here in 24 and you can work and combine them in so many ways that you can create great, incredible, vivid pieces without needing the giant sets of all of the Prismacolors or all of the Polycolor, or all of, you can do it with a simple number. And I kind of like that sometimes because it's like a little bit less choosing that I have to do. So again, these are them right here. Nice note to remember, the first 12 that are right here are your basic, like if you're going to think about your Crayola shades. Now there's a couple extras because you see we have kind of an orangey red right here, and that one is technically, that one's the light vermilion right here, as well as you've got an extra blue and an extra green. Always have to remember, this is the red right here. It looks very pink in the tin, but when you color with it, it's the carmine, it works really, really well. It is red, red, red. So it's always good. I've got a little sheet right here that I use when I'm coloring that I made sample swatches, as well as it has the actual names. I went to the website to get those so that when I'm talking to you, I can tell you which ones I'm using and use the official name. And sometimes when you see the name, that also helps you understand what the color is. Like the sepia right here, natural sepia. The browns are very different shades of brown. And so if you're trying to just think, oh, I'll use a light, this is the lighter, this is the medium, this is the dark, and you try to shade with those, you're going to get a really weird effect. So just knowing those helps you to be able to blend with them and use them very well. Now I'm going to be using Gamsol on this one. My bottle's open right here, so I'm not going to tilt it too much. I put a link into it. I like the smaller size bottle. I could probably go with a bigger bottle, but it stores nicely in my drawers. It's 4.2 ounces. And I really love using a little filbert brush to help put that on. You do not have to use Gamsol. I also have blender pencils. You can see how much I've used mine. This one is a little bit of a joke. You see how tiny it is. I like seeing how long I can use them. And this one's almost worn out. I do have spares in my pencil case, but you can see how small it's gone, as well as I've got my pencil sharpener that I really like. It's got the dual hole. I really only need graphite and color. I hardly ever use the graphite hole here. It actually works out well because my husband likes the sharpener well, and he uses regular pencils, so when mine starts to wear out, I just swap them because he hasn't used this one, and so the blade's really fresh and ready to go. So this is like my favorite sharpener. I have gone through a ton of them because I wear them out. started, when you're starting a picture, it's always fun to look at and try to decide where you want to start. And I am kind of feeling blue today. Not that I'm sad, but like blue is my favorite color, so I'm feeling like we're going with blue. So I thought it would be fun to start with the blueberries on this. Starting with the owl does sound kind of cool, but I haven't fully come up with what colors I want to use on him, but I do know what I want to use for blueberries. So if I start there, typically I find that inspiration will come when I get closer in, and I've had a little bit of time to absorb the piece. So I'm going to start with the purple in this set. It's actually dark violet is the name. It's number 8 in the set, and they have the numbers at the bottom. I'll show you the bottom of this one right here, right there. And when you put them in number order, you do get the 12 first that are a little bit more of the primary set that you're used to if you think of Crayola from your childhood with this. And we're going to be using the purple to start with because it is a great shadow color, and we'll be using it a lot on this. And I'm just going to go in really, really lightly. The beauty of using Gamsol is that you can build really, really light layers. And it's nice sometimes not to have to push real hard to get that really deep color, that I can just sit here and work on building. And when I do these blueberries, I did some the other day and had so much fun working on them. And this, I'm going to go ahead and start with the dark blue right here. It's number 7. Just gonna go over that, going right over the purple that we started with. Then we're going to move over here and go to sky blue. Sky blue is number 17. Make sure I got the right one. Yep. It's a very interesting shade of blue. I think it's very vivid. I'll go in like this with it. Come over. Get my hand out of the way here for you guys. I haven't been doing very good at that. Here we go. You guys can see what's going on. So I'm going right over that edge that I just had right there. And then I'm going to take my white, I'm going to sharpen it up a little bit because I like to white blend a little bit before I do the Gamsol. With this, I find it creates nice gradients. I'm going all the way into that inner bit there. That is the leafy bit in the middle. Technically not leaves, but that bottom bit of the blueberry where the kind of comes all together. Now this is really, really tiny, so I don't need a whole lot of Gamsol or anything. And I find that a lot of times, hi Dusty, glad you're back. We're all here again. So, I'm just going to come in my brush and blend it all together. I love Gamsol blending. I love because, I'm just barely touching. I don't have to push really, really hard. And I tested this paper just to double check to make sure it would take pretty well on this and not be, I'm going to go in, and one of the secrets creating great looking things is to make sure that your shadows are nice and vivid and your highlights are nice and vivid. So I'm going in with the white. Over top of it. And you see just how much color that laid down. I'm barely putting any pressure on that little blueberry. And we got a ton of color really, really quick. I'll raise it up here so you guys can see it a little bit versus, hopefully I'm going to get this right. I'm trying to look, my delay is a little funny right now. So there you go. So you see that little blueberry right there, and how bright. That was hardly any work. That was really, really fast, how quick that goes. So for the leaves, I'm going to grab my brown. Now you can see with a teeny little bit of tip right here, and this is the straight up number 11. It is the straight brown in this. And because this is so tiny, I'm actually going to need to sharpen my this. Not really a need to worry a whole lot on creating any dimension on this. It's tiny in this, and so just putting the color in will be more than enough. And I'm going to color really, really lightly with the brown. And I'm going to go in with the ochre, kind of like a light blend right there in the middle. And I'm layering those two to kind of get closer to the little bit of brown that's in that. And there we go, a blueberry. Done really, really fast. There's no need to really go in and blend that because it's such a teeny area that the eye's not going to notice that it wasn't done. And next, to look at some leaves here. I'm going to grab the darkest green that's in this set, that's number 5. It's Hooker's green in this one. And I love making really, really deep green leaves. So what I do, go around the edge. It's like they're curling away from me. It's very, I'm putting the teeniest bit of pressure right there to help bring it in. And now we're going to go to the green that's right next to that, the sap green. Just kind of blend it in, still leaving some room in the middle. And knowing that when we come in with the gamsol, it will pull to the middle. And so I'm just going to white blend that in a little bit, and you'll see it'll pull in with the white blending as well. Cool. Get that right there. A little bit of gamsol. Just pull it in. You see how well that's coming in. And then just a little bit more. And how fast that was. I love the speed of this. And so we've got this cute little leaf. I'll bring it up again for you guys so that you can see that cute little leaf right there. And how fast it is. Now, I'm going to put a little bit more of the dark green on just because I want to take those shadows back just a little bit. Just around the edge. And then, without dipping my brush again, I'm just going to blend that in. It's still linty. And there we go, another gorgeous leaf. Now, one thing you want to know that if you're going back and forth between colors that aren't really similar, like if I was to try to go to a yellow next, I would want to make sure I have a paper towel ready to help clean my brush, because you can still have residue from the other, because the pigment is basically, we're breaking down the binders, and then you don't have to worry which one is it meant for, because I know you can get the ones that are designed for wax-based pencils, and these are not wax-based, these are oil-based, so you can get that, and that just breaks down the binders, so then we're really blending the pigments that are there with it. So that's how that works, if you've ever wondered how that worked. Take a drink of my coffee. It is almost getting cold after all that running back and forth, and we got started so late, and I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it just wasn't working. I remember I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and make sure that I am being really good about the router. So I'm going to do some more green in here. So again, starting with that dark green. I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so it's easier for you guys to see. Sorry if the camera bounces. Let me adjust. That'll give you guys a better view. Sometimes if I zoom in too much, it creates, it makes the picture not look as good. So I'm trying to find that happy balance because it is a digital zoom from my phone. Going in real lightly. Go ahead and do this guy right too. So what have you guys been up to this? Couldn't do last week. They shut the water off in our complex. And so we ended up leaving to go do other things. Plus it was noisy with all the work they were doing. They were replacing all of the exterior spigots in the complex. It was really noisy too. I'm gonna color the stalk here with the green. Stem. Right, do the green. Now I really want to make sure, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this guy in brown, so I want the outside to be as vivid as possible because I love color. And it's kind of makes us good. It feels so fallish, and here we are, yeah, in spring on the cusp of summer in May. And I'm like, let's do something more in fall colors. So we'll do this outside, very, very summery, like that. Yeah, I missed not doing it last week because I was ready and had made up the mind which one we were gonna do and all of that, and then get the notice. Your water's gonna be shut off. We're gonna be doing a lot of repairs. Like, okay, thanks. This is both my husband and I work from home. Those are like, oh, so we have to go find another place to work. It's not just that we're out at work. Okay, get my brush here. Got a little bit of, my husband had to take her little puppy to the vet this morning. She had an ear infection. She's a poodle and still too young to go to the groomer, but she has so much hair. And because she has so much hair, that meant she had a lot of hair in her ears, and so I had to take her in and get that looked at and taken care of. She is resting right now after that busy morning, but when he was on his way back, one of the intersections near our house was closed. He assumed it was for a wreck, but I just got the news alert saying that there was some guy over there wielding a knife, and he ended up getting shot by an officer because he wouldn't stand down. So that's just a couple blocks from my house, from our apartment. And it's not that we live in a dangerous area by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a little unnerved by that because it's right along my son's route to school. Unfortunately, I'd already gotten the I'm safe at school notification from him because he's very good about texting me and letting me know when he gets there. So he wasn't involved, but it was pretty sombering or sobering right now to think about that that's on his route. And a little bit earlier, and he would have been there in the middle of all of that. So. Our police here are really good about watching out our students and making sure they stay safe. So that's nice to know, especially in light of, school shootings that have happened and everything, and just it seems like so much with guns. I know everybody has an opinion on that, and I don't want this to get political. It's the state of where we live now, no matter where you are in the country. So let's get back to a happier note. Happier note. Happy, happy, happy. I really like the spring. We are breezy today, and that is a cold breeze. I just heard it kind of whistling around. Got the cold draft. My studio is right off of our front porch that my husband uses for his little office area, as well as storage for all the kids' bikes and everything. It's not really a pretty or usable to go hang out and enjoy the outdoors porch, but the door's just cracked a little bit going out there, and that was really a chilly breeze. Open that a little bit more. I had to dip my brush again. I did all of these. I haven't dipped my brush since I did that one, just to kind of let you guys know how long the Gamsol will stay on your brush. A little bit deeper. Hello, Katrina. Glad you're back with us. This morning was a crazy morning getting all of this up and going. But we're here now, and we have a beautiful picture because of it. I am very happy when I look over and I see how clean it is. We're making happy little blueberries up here. We'll be working on this piece. Thinking maybe about 4 weeks, hopefully. We'll be about that amount of time on it. That's my goal, at least. And probably what I'll do is I will do one component I'll show you guys how we're doing that component, and then it's just the same steps elsewhere. So if like we don't finish all the blueberries today during the live stream, I'll finish them off camera. I feel like that gets a little boring watching the same thing. Unless you're watching this for like that super calming kind of, watching the pencil move. Then I guess you would want to see every little bit. There'll be more than enough footage, considering these are in real time. Now we're trying to figure out some good ways so that I can record these and then make the edited video to go up. So, seeing how that would work. Right now my setup just won't allow for it. Yes, my whole big elaborate setup here is it is my iPhone on a tripod recording, just like you would live stream from a concert or something like that. I mean, the new ones, they have, I mean, incredible, because I've got an 8 Plus. We chose to go with that because it had the same camera as the 10 on the side that it matters for me. I don't take many selfie videos, so on the other side is great. So it's got a really good camera built in. It's so amazing to think how awesome our cameras on our phones have gotten. But to live stream from a regular camera takes like extra software and some other things, and that cost a decent amount of money. Because the freebies basically that are out there for you to live stream with, I might as well just use my phone and not have to worry about all the extra components that might not want to line up or decide to be a little difficult right when you're ready to shoot. Happy leaves. So I'm hoping everybody had a pretty good weekend. Royal wedding was this weekend. I live in a place where the royal wedding was at 4 a.m. So I did not get up and watch it. As good as my intentions are and things like that, I am not a like early morning person. Like 10 a.m. is the earliest I could do this live stream and have it happen. And I'm even debating how I can possibly get everything set up the day before, so I'm not trying to get it all done morning of. Just because for getting the live stream up and running, it's like I start getting everything ready at 8 a.m. And I am just not firing on all cylinders yet at 8 a.m. But I really like, and they did the Rose Bowl parade. It's Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon play these two characters called Cord Hosenback and Cord Hosenback and Tish Hadigan. And they're like they're not very intelligent kind of broadcasters. And they're hilarious. And so they decided to do a broadcast from the royal wedding and stuff like that. And so that's what I wanted to watch. Well, before it was on Amazon Prime, the Rose Bowl was, and so I was like, okay, with Amazon Prime. Then I realized it was on HBO. I'm like, oh, stink, we don't have HBO. So we signed up through a Prime to do the free week trial of HBO just so that we could watch this little silly thing. So I did finally get to catch it. Unfortunately, they didn't like live stream it immediately. Like they live streamed it, but then they didn't have it up immediately for you to watch on the channel. So we're like, crud, because before the replay was available on Prime almost immediately, and so they didn't replay it until 9:45 that night. So it's like, oh, so to watch it now, it's either I had to get up at the crack of dawn, or now I have to stay up late to watch it. So I ended up falling asleep. I didn't see the whole thing, but it was hilarious. You got to watch From what I saw, I mean, everything, her dress and everything, I was watching pictures, so it wasn't like I was waiting for like no spoilers or anything, but I got up and looked at pictures and stuff, and just her pretty dress, and I love that type of thing anyway. Like the next day after the Met Gala, I'm up looking at all their outfits and that kind of thing, seeing what everybody was wearing, and but haven't seen any clips of the actual ceremony yet. So supposedly the Episcopalian preacher who was there was just as fiery and stuff as he is normally, which was good. And then the cellist was incredible. And I play cello, so have a little soft spot for cellists. I am not as good as like a concert cellist or anything. I play for fun, not because I'm going to go tour or become the next Yo-Yo Ma or something like that. But I just love the instrument. I need to catch some things of that. Just seeing, I mean, they have those crazy long trains on their, like Kate did and all, and then Megan's was, and it's always, to me, it's like, it seems so difficult to move around in. And she's going down the stairs, it folded, I noticed on itself out when she came out. And then just I thought about her getting up. Oh, the music was amazing. I'm sure it was. Okay, I've got. I do not know why. Sorry, Katrina. I had to approve your message there. I have it set to where, like, if it's possibly inappropriate, it'll flag it, and I have no idea why it flagged yours. So yours is up. Sorry, bumped my desk. I've got my chair set really tall because I've been painting. Nice to know that Dick Blick has the open stock. I had back in Louisville, my local art store, which I always love supporting local art stores when you can, had a great set of open stock. And my husband actually bought me the ones that I was low at. He called me and I gave him the numbers when he was back home in February. So I've got spares in my desk ready to go when I need them. And this is totally frivolous, but I've honestly thought about replacing all my broken ones. Even though there's no need, they are perfectly good with new from the open stock. But I always love pencils that you can get in open stock, just because to me that seems like such a good way to go. Because if you buy a set and you run out of one and they're not available in open stock, you have to rebuy the whole set again, even though you don't need all the other colors. So I love open stock. I'm going to point out something in just a second to you guys once I get these all done in. And I can hit up with my, you see how that kind of bled out a little bit. I've got my eraser, and I don't have a link to my eraser in the description. I should probably put one down there. This is the little eraser. I have loved this eraser. I saw it, I thought, oh, this would be great. And then you see a product on the shelf, and you're like, ooh, that looks wonderful. And sometimes they live up to what you think, and sometimes they don't. This one totally lived up, and has what I wanted right here. So it's just a Faber-Castell. It's called Perfection eraser. And I just love because it sharpens like a pencil. I find that the best sharpener I've ever used on it was at our old house, so that I don't have one here. Let me go ahead and just clean up a little bit. I tend to be a little messy. But it was a wall mount, like the little crank erasers, or sharpeners that you used to have in your school. And it worked great. But I do find that sometimes the rubber gets a little gummy, and it took me, will sharpen a little weird. And then one day I realized it's an eraser, so if I want to sharpen it, I can just go like this on a piece of paper and make my point back again. It's like, well, duh, easy fix right there. So, with that. So, little side note there if you have one of those pencils. How to get it back into top shape. I'm going to darken this a little bit. I'm going to sharpen this to a good, nice, strong point. It's funny to think, my husband and I are quickly approaching 20 years married and seeing how much weddings have changed in that time. And what's standard now and what was standard when we got married. Because we got married in 99. It's kind of crazy to believe we've been married that long, but we were just kids when we got married. We just turned 21. And I look back on it now and it's like, oh my goodness, you were so young. What did you know? I don't know how well I would take it if my kids come to me at 21 and are like, we're ready to get married. I have some friends who got married even younger, and they have kids that are pretty close to the same age they were when they got married, and it's, yeah, they're dealing with that. I was really that young. Against on my brush. The trick for highlights, and this is a piece that I recommend everybody have regardless of what brand pencils you use, is that you cannot beat the opacity level of a Prismacolor white pencil. Just FYI, they will go on top of color and actually use, like, lighten it. I haven't found that in any of the other brands to the level that it is. So you can buy them in open stock, so you don't have to like worry about getting a set. Obviously, you can get them online pretty easily. Just a plain white. You can actually get a couple of plain whites just to have on hand. But I always keep one at hand. I'm not going to use it on these. I'm happy with the color that I've got with this. But if you do need to go back and let's say it got a little darker than I wanted, and I really want to lighten it up, this is the best tool for that, hands down. So know that your Prismacolor white is one to always have in your toolbox, ready to go. Just as much as a white gel pen or any of those other things you have probably in your adult coloring toolbox or kit, whatever you want to call it, ready to go. So that's my plug for that. I'm not trying to sell them, I'm just trying to let you know that you can't beat that one. So, anyway. So let's go. Oh, I didn't do the stems. Let's do the stems in there real quick. And we'll make all those blueberries really pretty and blue. Because we took a little extra, I'll go past 11 today, because it took so long to get up and running. And this is just the Hooker's Green dark one. Something you can do, right here, and I'll show you, nice one, is I grab the violet, the dark violet, right here, and I can come in and shadow these a little bit. Right here, so I kind of send it to the back. And then, see, I didn't put in a whole lot right there. Oh, I didn't. I missed. Go ahead and do this little branch right here. I have no idea what color I'm going to do the background on this. I'm just thinking about that as I'm looking at it. And partly I go to blue backgrounds a lot. And so a lot of times I say anything, I will not do a blue or yellow background. I will not do a blue or yellow background. And I end up doing a blue or yellow background. So just FYI with you guys. What's your background go to? Like if you're doing something, do you have a certain background that you typically do all the time? And you may try to tell yourself, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, and then you end up doing it. I'm curious. Or is there something else that... I'm back with the violet, the dark violet, and just going around. And using these simple palette that I've got right here with the 24 colors, purple is one of my go-tos for shadowing. I'll also use the deep blue for creating shadows, but purple is the easiest go-to. That works really well. Background style, they find me. I do a ton with pastel chalk, Katrina too, and I found, here I'll pull them out here, easy grab. You can see this in some of my videos, I use these. The precision tips with the Q-tips right here for putting them on. I have my pastel shaved, like not all the pastel, but I shaved it. And so they're in little tubs. So I can just open it up and I dip the Q-tip and I can place it wherever. And I'll show you right here, guys. I did both of these with that method. This one I did after I colored, and this one I did before I colored. And what I'll do when I do it, mainly because I finished this one and I wanted to get it set, because I put finish on it, matte finish. And then, so because I wanted to have them both, I did both backgrounds at the exact same time. And I think they work great. And I'll just use my little eraser to clean it up when I'm going in around the edges. And I'll even use that, like if I do it after I finish it now and I've laid down a whole lot of color, the eraser will come in nicely and clean up some of these. Now because I'm using Gamsol and I'm not burnishing on this one, I'm going to have to do a color, I'm going to have to do a pencil background on this one. When you're doing the chalk pastel afterwards, you have to make sure like you've worked really hard to burnish the color, because that'll keep the pastel from sticking there, and that's like I'll use the blender pencil. And my hands do tend to get a little tired working that way, so that was one of the choices you kind of have to decide with it. Another thing that you can do is you can black the background as well, which can create a really cool effect. I recommend going over it first with your black pencil, and then using a pigment pen on top of it. And if you put the pencil down first, it tends not to bleed, and that's the reason why the pencil first with it. So those are some ideas on that if you're wanting to do some quicker backgrounds. I have yet to try a bokeh, but backgrounds are a great way to really set the mood of your piece. And with this being, Twilight, I'm trying to think how I want to do it. I love the idea of it being dark purples and things like that in the background, and I may end up there with it. And then having fireflies, doing just little gel pen firefly dot kind of things with it. Make sure I'm getting my hand out of the way as I'm holding my pencil. I forget sometimes. I get working and I'm like, oh, make sure everybody can see what's going on. I'm trying to make sure I get that purple overlapped with the blue. So it really helps. There. So then the next one is just next door. So that was the dark blue, and now I'm going to use, it's called light blue. It's really funny because it's called light blue, but this one's not really a light blue. Actually a lot darker to me than what I would picture a light blue being. I'm just going just a little bit further. But these blueberries are so tiny for fitting a lot of color in. But when I did them the other day, I found the more colors that I was putting in, the more I liked them. So that's one of my reasons for putting in, even though they're so small, that much color. It's not going in with the light blue. I know some people, I'm seeing the acrylic paint, I get so nervous about going into these with wet media. And that's just me. You know, I do acrylic paint as well. Actually spent last week working on 2 paintings. One inspired by the Met Gala and another one that just been in my head for a while and got it out and onto a canvas. I found that my painting videos didn't get any views. That's why I don't post my painting videos. I don't do videos with my painting anymore. But I'm just so nervous about that because if you notice, I don't use markers so much, and I don't do watercolors. I'm not using Inktenses, just because I see I'm such a control freak, and the paper curling and stuff in my books is just, I don't know if I'm at a point where I can handle it. As silly as that sounds. I haven't thought about the royal wedding. Dee Dee, I am subscribed to her. Yeah, she's in my list. Makes you scared too. I am trying to be a lot better about just taking chances and trying things artistically. So maybe I should make myself try the crazy things like that. And look at those happy blueberries. And we're going to blend these in, and then we're going to come back in and deepen the shadows a little bit. I just have the teeniest bit of Gamsol on my brush. If you watched the videos where I was working on the succulent, you know that I also sometimes use a really tiny fine lining brush too. I have it put away right now. It's not in my quick grab. I was trying to clean up from painting last week. Be good keeping my supplies corralled. I don't have my little brush out and I'm ready to grab. I haven't put away my pencils yet though from the succulent that I finished. Just in case I'm going to go back and visit it and deepen some of the colors a little bit. Look how blue those blueberries are. That guy's not nearly as blue. I'm going to have to put a little bit more blue in him. I actually like these better. We're going to blue this one up a little bit. There we go. Added a little more blue there. Now we're going to deepen the shadows. A little bit more starting with the purple. Now I see these as blueberries. Does anybody else see them as maybe something different? Maybe you looked at it and thought, oh, they should be this color. So it's kind of berry. Just curious. There's no obviously right or wrong answer to what you see in these. Yes, people can see different things, kind of like Laurel and Yanny. Which one do you hear? Kind of thing. Oh yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought it turned out really good too. I'm going to be doing some prints of those. So that's like the next step with them. I really enjoy doing the succulents. It's kind of a silly obsession. But they take forever. So I'm not. And then going back and looking at some of my old succulents too, from the first one I did last fall. So even though they took a lot of time, the fact that I've done the 3, you know, I can see. Which honestly, the paper I've got for it fills my desk. So it's going to be huge. But I've got the reference photo and everything ready for that one. And I'm going in with the brown. Sorry, my brown is a teeny tiny little nub. So it's hard to see what I'm doing with it. A little bit in the middle. Put a little bit more pressure on the outside so it's more of the true brown. I keep freezing? Huh. Okay, my view looks okay. So is anybody else having trouble with it freezing up? Because at least it hasn't gone pixelated. You still have a nice, beautiful, crisp view of what I'm working on right now, which that makes me very happy. Okay with Katrina. So to me, these look kind of like an oak leaf right here, and then that would make sense with these being being acorns right here. Let's go ahead and we'll do the acorns. They're going to be brown because they're acorns. And as I said, if you heard earlier, I was talking about how this set has 3 browns that are very different. It has, here I'll pull over my sheet right here and I'll show you. We've got brown right here, and then we've got the burnt sienna and the natural sepia right there. So you see this one's pretty red, this one's like a true brown, and then this one is a very cool brown, almost black in nature. So I think our top part, and we'll start with the top part of the acorn right here, we'll use the sepia on that one because we've got this. And this is where you're going to see how weird I am with this, because I love things that are like little scales. And I'm not going to use my Gamsol on this one. I will use the blending because I'm going to be going so tiny. I love doing them individually like this. Maybe it's me being a glutton for punishment, but I just love them. And so I've got a super sharp tip on this guy ready to go. And I'm just putting color. I'm not even going all the way up with my color. Dark in these little holes right here where it finishes. And so you see how I did that? I mean, it's just the teeniest tiny little bit. And I will use my regular brown to blend this out. I'm not going to, I'm using it more as a blending tool here. And then I didn't go completely all the way out, especially on the big ones, and now I'm going to use my white to pull it out all the way. Now I find hitting that with a blending pencil even at the end. Really gets you good. And I'm not going, kind of mixes it all up a little bit. I'm not going very hard with the blender because I'm going to come back in now and put my dark back in. So back in with that sepia. I'm just going to go in very deepest spots and really darken it up. You do not, I recommend using black only as a last resort. I do not think it is very good for your basic shadowing and creating those levels of contrast. So know that with your black, but using deep color works, I find, a whole lot better. So you saw how I did that little cap right there, got that going. Now the next one I'm going to start with my regular brown. And I'm going really, really light with this to start. And then I'm going to use the yellow ochre. I think it's a light ochre. I'm going to pull in a little bit here. Kind of get that nice golden brown. Not using that sienna, even though it looks like it would be like a lighter brown, because then we would go really, really red with this. And I don't want this red to be, or this to be really red. I want it to be more of the London. And sometimes, like if I wanted to make that more of a golden color, I could even use the yellow on top of it. We're going to blend this level first, this layer first right here. And then I'm going to come in and do some more on the edge. Blend that all together. Now we're going to darken that edge up a little bit more. Now ideally, you could let that sit for just a second so it dries, but we're going to come back in pretty quick here. Now you see how we kind of have these shadow lines right there? That's a good place to follow. You see how I just kind of followed it with my pencil? Because it implies the shadow there already. She kind of told us where to put the shadowing in. And so now we've got a really, really cute acorn. Where are they? And that didn't take much work at all to get put in. Even doing the little individual little bits there, the little scales. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Grabbed my gray. Wasn't looking. So we'll do the other three right here real quick. Pressure. On the medium brown, the regular brown here. And come out with the white. I'm holding my blender a little funny because it's actually broken, so it's just kind of being held in by the wood around it right now. a little bit more. Now to do the regular bit of the acorn. Ochre. And white blend. Mix it all up with the Gamsol. And deepen that shadow. And there's another acorn. So curious, what books are you guys into right now? What's like your favorite go-to coloring book? I haven't bought any in so long. I feel kind of guilty because I've got some that have so many pages left. It's like the miser's like, no, you need to finish what you have first. You know, I always like to know though what everybody's favorites are, where they're spending their time. You know that Johanna Basford has a new one coming out that's flowers. So I'm curious on that one. At one point I was being good in checking Amazon regularly to kind of see what books were getting ready to come out and seeing those. I think Hannah Carlson has got a new one coming too. She had her seasons. Okay, and now to deepen this one. There we go. And now to do the body. Sometimes the little nubs are almost more comfortable to hold than the full-size ones. Buffy the Vampire books, wow. I was in a comic book store the other day and was kind of surprised at the different ones they had for the different fandoms that are out there. The only one that I have is basically that's fandom based is I do have a DC book that's all the female characters. So it's Wonder Woman and Supergirl and Batwoman, Batgirl, all of them. And I enjoy working in that one. But me being me, it means I have to sit there and I look up, because it's mostly the comic book covers. And so I go and look up the comic book covers there, said it correctly, so that I'm following them perfectly. You know, I can't just let myself color it what I want it to be. I should change it. Buffy. Honestly, I don't think I have ever watched an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And which is crazy, you know, because it's not that I don't watch TV or anything, I've never caught an episode. And what's funny is just because of being alive, the amount I know of the plot lines and everything else, just because you hear it everywhere. Clean up some of the edges here real quick. Make that nice and tight. That fire truck's going outside right now. Adding a little bit more of the ochre. You would look them all up. Yeah, I've got way more photos that are on my iPad of comic book covers than I think most people do because of finding all of those. So looking at where we are in the time and everything, I think I'm going to call this one done for right now because I don't think we really have time to move on to start something new without going over the time and that kind of thing. So I hope you have liked this. I hope you have liked this video. I have totally lost the little sheet that I made that said thank you and subscribe and everything, so I can't set it down right now. So we will just zoom out. We'll zoom out right there. Oh, it says we've been going for 62 minutes. Okay, so longer than I thought. I'll zoom out and get us a full nice shot of this guy. I guess because my kids my oldest is 16, so they just weren't into it when it was on. So that's how I missed out on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So oh, my sad sheltered life, missing out on everything, right? I guess I have some homework to do this week. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as click the bell icon. The bell icon is very, very important to all of us YouTubers now because that is the only way you are going to be sure that you are notified when new videos come up from your favorite creators. So make sure you're doing this for anybody that you really want to know that they've got a new video up, especially considering for the next couple weeks I'm going to be a little bit sporadic because I've got some other things going on. We're looking for a house right now, getting ready to move, all that fun, and so it's going to be a little bit hectic here, so I can't guarantee my upload schedule will be perfect. So please hit that bell notification so you can be notified. So also you can follow me over at Twitter and Instagram. I am at Grace and Lottie's. I put up quite a bit that I do when I'm not on camera too. So like if you had been following me, you would have known that I was working on this one. I haven't put up the finished picture yet because it's not done. So I still got the gel pen to do. So be watching for that over there. So I have enjoyed today's live stream and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.